No, we don't. We don't need to invade anywhere except for the interwebs
There's
with
no
our
fucking here, man.
galactic
cracking.
washing machine. Welcome,
Bark.
welcome to Dog Talk.
Just dog.
We got
I'm sorry my dogs are barking. This is why I had wanted to go on it through
through Xbox. Yeah, but Xbox had other
Xbox
plans.
with my headset. But,
Xbox.
She tried to connect to Skype using Xbox, and the Xbox was there was when she started yelling at it, the sound started coming in better, but there was definitely a loud hum at that point.
Oh. So this was Hum Along with Lulu.
Yeah,
yeah, with Lulu.
I'm along with Lulu. Okay, we are almost live. We just have to close that window, click OK on that, click play on that, and we are live. We are absolutely live and only 6 minutes late. I think this is a new record.
That's not so bad. Not so bad at all.
Yeah. And
Cue
only
the
6 minutes
music.
late. And we got Loop back. Except I don't think YouTube is working because, as usual, YouTube is, changes everything every week. So all my saved settings don't do what they do. Oh, wait. No, it does say I'm live, but it didn't take the new stream title that I put in. So everyone's just got to look at a video with the same stream title as last week's, but it's okay because no one watches anyway. So no one knows. No one knows. This is our little secret.
And in fact, do we have sound this time? Because was it last time you didn't have sound?
What do you mean we didn't have sound last time?
Or was that something different?
What kind of sound would we not? Well, how did
didn't have sound?
were we just signing? Or yeah, OBS didn't have. No, I fixed that problem before Neo called, Lulu called.
Okay.
So we have sound on both places. We have sound coming out of my mouth. I confirmed that. That's never been a problem. Or it's always a problem, depending on who you ask. So I think we are ready to officially open up the show at this point. Oh, that was loud. Hello, everyone. Once again, you are here for this show. Your favorite show, the show with the long drawn-out intro when Gators doesn't have his sound effects ready for you, so he stalls for time. And of course, that show is the only show with the name of
Insert title here.
the show that changes names so frequently, we just put a placeholder in. It's right there, and we just put whatever we want to in there. And this week, we don't have anything to put in there. But last week I promised... Yes. You are listening to Boobies. This is Booby Radio. We're all going to come here and talk about our... We're all going to take off our shirts and compare our boobies. I don't think anyone wants to see that.
I don't think anybody wants to see that.
No, not while Brian's
Where
driving.
the fuck is Venison?
He's playing with his boobies, obviously.
Baby!
That is a good question. Where is Venison?
Where is that fucking gremlin?
All right, we're gonna add Venison to the group, and we'll see if he comes in or not. But anyways,
Why does it keep saying I have a chat open?
why does Skype do anything? Skype is
trash.
Skype is mostly a mystery to me. But Brian is on location, driving with the cows and the sheep and the grapevines, and
Hey, now I'm in Pismo Beach.
Okay.
I can see the water.
You can see the water.
I'm so sorry.
Now, could you park in the water?
Yeah. No, I'm actually turning so I don't end up in the water.
Ah. Unlike that Jeep that got
So I'm
caught
going
in the.
past a little place that has a whole bunch of surfboards.
Okay.
And I'm taking the ramp ahead.
Now is that's the GPS?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the Lady Garmin.
Are you driving alone?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I just didn't want to be like rude if like the missus was there right next to you and not like acknowledge or say hi to her. But
Right.
you're driving alone, so
She would just say that this is a waste of time.
well, that's what
Why are
driving
you going this way?
driving
Go that way.
is. I agree. Driving is a complete waste of time, but you gotta get
That's right.
you
That's
gotta
right.
get to point B. You know, you gotta.
I'm hoping there's not too much road noise.
You know, this would be an interesting show if we had you on speakerphone in the car with your wife in the passenger seat. She's not listened to the show. I don't think you've told her many details about this show. She knows,
And she doesn't want to know.
and she doesn't want to know.
She doesn't want to know.
She'd sit there saying nothing, and my goal would be to
So
get a
ra-
reaction.
random- So I'm the randomizer. You know, I point out what I see, and right now I'm following a cherry picker on the highway.
Hey, now, is that a person picking
He's doing
cherries off of
60
cherry trees, or is that like the thing with the bucket that raises up?
The bucket.
The
That's
bucket.
Right, the bucket.
The bucket. Now, is there someone in the back of the bucket that's like grabbing cherries off of cherry trees as they're driving down the road?
They would be. It's moving too fast for that.
That's
He's doing about 60 miles an hour,
okay.
which means everybody's going around him.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of stuck behind him because everybody else
It-
says, no, I'm not going to be the guy that's following.
Yeah, you know, I had a situation like that once. I was driving on Route 1 north in Maine when I was driving home from work. I worked in Damariscotta, and I lived in Lincolnville. And so I take Route 1 from Damariscotta to, usually I'd take Route 90 along part of the way, but I would, I needed to pick up something at Walmart. So I was taking Route 1 up to Rockland. And I get stuck behind this slowpoke that is going like 40 in a 55 that most people drive 70. And
We're doing a big hill right now. We're doing 50, 49.
oh no.
48. Now
So
more people are passing me.
so Route
These are
1
the slow pokes.
Route 1's one of those types of roads that has like the dotted yellow line periodically where you have the chance to pass someone if you don't see oncoming traffic. And even then, that's a little scary. I always hate passing on roads like that. I always hate crossing the dotted yellow line into potential oncoming traffic, because if you see headlights off in the distance, how fast are they coming, and am I judging that right? So I usually just wait it
Will your
out.
station wagon make it?
Yeah, there's that too. So
Right.
so I'm
Right.
driving behind this 40-mile-an-hour slowpoke, and as we get closer to Rockland, the line of cars behind me gets longer and longer and longer until you get people that are ballsy enough to pass two vehicles, me and the asshole in front of me,
Hey!
which is what
Hey,
you're dealing
there's
with.
a bale of hay in the back of this truck.
Hey.
See
da, da 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 da. Hey. Da da da. Yeah. So
Yep.
as we get into Thomaston, this car behind me decides that passing me and the 40-mile-an-hour asshole that has been, keeping us that slow from Waldoboro, he decides that it's not enough to pass us. He must punish us. So he passes me, passes the car in front of me, and slows down to 30. Just to piss off the guy that made us drive 40 miles an hour all the way from Waldoboro to Thomaston. And I was there behind this guy cheering him on like, yeah, you show him. You show him. I wish I could have showed him. You show him. I'm almost at my
Well,
destination.
crap, I got a front of the cherry picker,
Uh-huh.
and then everybody slows down to 15. I'm sorry, it was a 5.
You got in front of the slowpoke just
and
in time
guy
for the
with
traffic
the
jam.
hay passed me back. Hey!
Hey, that's not
That's
cool.
not right. I'm in the left lane.
That's not cool. This is not cool. Not cool. Guy with
If
the
cherry
hay.
picker passed me, then I'll really be mad. Oh crap, he's creeping up on me.
Oh no.
Holy shit.
Oh no no no
There's
no
like-
no.
There was like 10 cars that I got past after I passed the cherry picker. Oh good, I'm speeding up again.
Okay. Good.
People are saying, wow, this is frickin' boring.
No, no, no. I mean, we've all been there. Who hasn't been stuck behind a cherry picker in their lives?
Right.
I mean,
Ooh, 11 miles per hour.
oh, if only we had like a camera on the dashboard so we could like monitor like all of your
That's
you
right.
know, car
Yeah.
you know, they got those apps now that like you plug the thing into the port and then you can bring up an app that
Yeah.
shows all these different dials that, you know, shows how your car's performing. If we could like do that and screen cap that, then we could kind of see your car statistics as you're talking about the cherry picker. So we could verify your speed that you're relaying to us. We still have two people that have held out through this thrilling episode of Car Talk. I think
Right.
people are like,
And nobody's written anything in the chat, right?
right? No one.
No.
No one's written in the chat, but chat is up.
Wow.
I think people right now are going like, this is the weirdest episode of Click and Clack I've ever. What the heck is going on here? No.
Ow.
This is
Al, please stop scratching me. Sorry, I'm holding a pussy.
Oh my God. It was boobies before. Now it's pussy. What the hell?
I don't think you can
Well,
say
I was
that.
eating
We're
hot
going
dogs earlier
downhill.
too.
Where were those hot dogs?
I think that's
They've been
Dennis's,
devoured, dude.
You okay? So you're good at. Okay, we'll just leave that alone. The jokes write themselves. You go ahead. You do it in your head, so we don't have to.
I'm kissing my pussy.
Yeah. So last week, I had said it was going to be the last show. Yes, kitty. I said last week was going to be the last show with the M Audio sound card, and this week we would be boxing it up, and that has proven to
And
be.
the cherry picker just passed me.
Oh, that's. But also, that has proven to be false. I will not be packing up the M Audio sound card this week because it turns out that.
Bummer.
Yeah, I got the focus right here. Problem number one, it was poppy, it was clicky, it was noisy. And that was because there's too much latency on the onboard USB ports on my motherboard, and they haven't developed a driver for any drivers for my motherboard since 2014. So my motherboard is relying on the kindness of Microsoft's generic drivers, which for the most part work fine, but do not work fine with Focusrite's hardware. And
Couldn't Focusrite make a driver for you?
well, no, Focusrite has their own software and their own drivers for their box, but their box doesn't perform with my USB ports because there's too much lag, no, not lag. What's the word I'm looking for? Delay, lag. Anyways, they had tools to trace these things. They basically said, well, you got a 5 millisecond like delay on your USB driver. And now this was after two phone calls with two different techs who were blaming everything from I'm on too new of a version of Windows, or they were going all over the place until finally he said, well, that 5 millisecond delay on that USB port, which I had to find the tool. I had to come up with the idea to test that. My phone calls were mostly a waste of time. And after the second phone call, I said to myself, well, if the USB ports are the problem, why don't you just add newer USB ports? So I threw a USB add-on card into one of my PCIe slots and installed the latest driver for that, and plugged the Focusrite directly into that, and beautiful crystal clear sound without any problem. And so I even sent the link to what I bought to Focusrite so that if they get future calls about this problem, they could tell people, hey, you could fix it for $15, just order this. You're welcome, Focusrite. You're welcome. Because that turned out to be all a moot point, because the Focusrite devices do not break out the pairs of inputs and outputs into separate Windows audio devices. Which is perfectly fine.
They just mash them together?
Well, basically, you use what's called ASIO drivers, which Pro Audio software would use. So you use something like Pro Tools or Logic or even Adobe Audition. you can assign your different inputs to different tracks on your multi-track recording, set up a bunch of microphones with all your friends, and record a multi-track session and be fine like that. But if you want to use a Microsoft Windows audio device like Skype uses, or like TeamTalk uses, or like any standard application uses, you can only use the 1-2 in or the 1-2 out. So, yeah, I'm out of luck. I cannot assign Skype to the 3.4, assign TeamTalk to the 5.6, and wire my mixing board up and make mix-minus mixes to send all those things and use the one device to run my show. So the Focusrite is probably a great device to, record music to a multi-track session, but it ain't going to do much for streaming if you want to, use it with multiple Windows apps and make sub-mixes and things like that. So since I can't justify $500 in a box that...
Oh, this is funny. Normally, when you
Dude.
like this, the motorcycle guys ride the white line right past you, right?
Right, yeah.
This time, it's a pair. It was a motorcycle, actually, with the driver and the passengers sitting on the side. For some reason, they didn't want to go anywhere. I don't know what that was about. It's kind of like the reverse.
So you passed a stationary
Anyway,
motorcycle.
I'm speeding up now. I'm at 57 miles per hour.
Oh, wait. What's the speed limit on that road?
Are you still there?
I am still here. I was just asking you what the
Stop
speed.
biting me.
Okay. Anyways.
I'm kind of in a sketchy zone right now.
Uh-huh.
Now, so, the motorcycle riders love this road.
Uh-huh.
Apparently Verizon doesn't.
Ah.
Because I think I have a very weak signal right here.
All right. Well, you're still coming through for now. So anyways, I returned the Focus.
But it does break up a little bit. Oh, a different cherry picker, but he's on the side of the road.
Why me?
This is
I think
entertaining.
my guy's still ahead of me.
You know what? I would change the channel right about now if I weren't doing the show that I want to get away from. Hey, to those
Continue with your
This is entertaining.
Focusrite.
to those two people out there that's watching, you do know Megan Lennius is live right now, right? You are aware that Megan Lennius is doing far.
You do realize the one other person who's watching is me. I'm watching the stream. So you have one person watching.
So we should both just put on
One
Megan
person.
Lennius's stream and read her messages.
Ian. It's Ian. Ian's gonna call in, right?
No, he's not. He's not going to call in. We didn't arrange anything, and besides, I know what Ian's doing right now, and he's driving home from his job. So and plus, I still got to prepare what we're going to talk to him about, because we're not going to talk about Brexit, because he don't do Brexit. But we do need to talk about that, because last week we tried to figure out Brexit, and we don't know. We can't figure out Brexit. It don't.
What we should have done is said, oh, well, okay, so we don't have to talk about Brexit. Can you tell us how Parliament fucking works?
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I really wanted to ask him, and I think maybe we can still try to ask that. But at this point, can you even talk about Parliament without talking about Brexit? I mean, that's pretty much what Parliament's doing or not doing, right? They're either Brexiting or not Brexiting.
I don't think there's any thoughts on Twitch right now. I haven't seen any thoughts.
Dogs?
Thoughts. A thought is a thought, THOT, is a streamer that gains popularity based on their attractiveness. I think is I don't know if that's textbook definition, but usually they're bouncy, they're perky, they're jiggly and bubbly personality and fun to watch, and sometimes there's dancing and
use a pole.
some of them have poles. Some of them have poles. Some of them just dance.
Not Norwegian. They have to be Poles.
Well, there are the Russians that have the poles. Alyssa is the official Russian pole dancer of the Dune and Bob show. She doesn't know that she is, but we know she is. And I always get an email when she goes live, and usually I'm at work and can't watch, so that makes me sad.
Oh.
Oh no! Wait, found one.
That is sad.
We're gonna
Found one, and she's dancing.
Okay.
Wow.
We now have one viewer, and that's me watching my own
Yay.
stream. So.
Yay.
Yeah, such a thought. You are such a fucking thought, you fucking cow.
So, when you talk about obsolete hardware,
Yeah.
that
Oh,
they want
here's
to
another
throw
one.
away,
Here's another one. Oh, she's actually playing a game.
So I have an iPad 4,
It's not that bad.
which is an
Even though
older
you should see
version.
it finish.
All right, one at a
It
time.
is,
I could deal with the boring as hell content, but not two boring topics simultaneously. So, Brian, you're talking about hardware while Neo watches her thoughts, and we'll get the thought update
okay,
later.
So we'll try to coordinate this.
Well, I don't
I'll
know
say
what's
a phrase.
more boring. Watching a fucking thought try and play a game, or listen to Brian talk about how there's cherry pickers on the side of the fucking road.
Well, he's going to talk about his garbage instead.
Yeah, that's right. I'm moving on. Lulu, but sorry, I was interrupting you. Of course, I can barely hear you because you break in and out. Worse than Jonathan does.
You're all right. So you have bad downstream but decent upstream because we can hear you fine.
Yeah, and actually, I think it's getting better because I'm approaching the big city of Nipomo.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and I think Verizon is doing okay here. In fact, I see a tower. I think it's a cell tower. I better slow down so I don't hit the car in front of me.
That's a good idea. Okay, I think Lulu hung up on us.
Lulu. Oh, sorry, Lulu.
That's okay. I was about ready to just hang up. I think when this call's done, I'm just ending the show early because I hate myself and want to die right now. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm laughing about it.
So Lulu, if you're still listening, in 7 minutes I'll have to get off because I'll get to my destination, pick up my sister-in-law, we're going to eat something.
And
because she is starving to death.
And you know what? Listening to you and your sister eat might be more entertaining radio, but I don't know if your sister's on board with that.
No, what the hell is this?
Well, we do have this thing called the Terrible
She
20.
She doesn't like to listen to her dog walker.
Oh,
Of course,
okay.
her dog walker might be a little crazy.
Well,
Might be crazier than us.
that would be hard to pull off. But you're talking about your old computers or something like that, and I don't know where you're going with that, but I'll allow it. Like I have a choice.
No, actually, I'm talking about an old iPad that I have.
Oh yeah, those are useless.
So Apple stuck it at iOS 10.888 or whatever, right?
Okay.
It's like 666 plus 2 more.
Right.
And the YouTube app requires iOS 11.
Right.
So when I downloaded the new one, it broke the YouTube app altogether.
And you can't go back to the old one because they don't give you that shit no more.
They don't have that's not available for Apple products.
It's not
So
like
you
a
have to
computer.
delete the app and bring up YouTube in the browser. And yeah, I'm logged in, but I hit a button to subscribe to something, and it doesn't give a shit. It won't stick. That button won't stick.
You see, this is
Or if I hit like on something, that doesn't stick.
this is another prime example of progress. This is what we call progress. We used to have downloads for installers that we would run. And if you got to a point where the latest installer was not compatible, you downloaded the old installer and you installed the old version and continued using that until something else broke
That's
it.
right.
But now in this modern age of app stores that for your convenience automatically give you only the newest one, and there is no option to manually update an old one. Basically, you're fucked. You're fucked. I mean, you could have an iPad that has old apps that still work on it, and you decide, well, this has someone else's settings on it. Let's wipe it and redo it and get a nice clean install of everything. And, well, you just fucked yourself because you ain't never getting a working YouTube app on there again. And so, yeah, I have an absolutely useless iPad downstairs that I brought home from work for free because no one wanted it. And then when I got it home, I found out this is why no one wants it, because they can't do jack shit with it. And it's like, people are like, "Ooh, that's really old." It's like 5 years old, which, okay, it's not the latest and greatest. Okay, it's going to be outdated. But since when does 5-year-old computer equals useless, obsolete? You can't even turn it on because that's so old. I mean, people have just like, it's almost like this whole judgment thing. Like, well, why do you even want to use something that old? Well, because it turns on, it has working electronics, and it can still serve a purpose.
Send it to the recycling center, and they'll box it up and then send it to Nigeria.
Yeah.
And they'll find out how to use it. They'd be happy to use it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, if I could put the old apps on it, if you gave an, you know what? We got all this great, convenient, automatic technology. Why not make it so the App Store automatically figures out the latest compatible version of the app and installs that version for your convenience? Why not have that feature? Why not do that? But no, it doesn't work that way, because if you made things too convenient, then people might not buy new iPads. And we must have people buy new iPads, or the economy fails.
Lulu, if you're still listening, you can call back in because I'm going to get off. Otherwise, we got Johnny on the line by himself.
All right. Well, you have a pleasant evening. And you reach out if you need to call, and
I'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, I'll talk to you or sooner if you want to call. We'll talk. Yeah, bye.
Yeah, okay. All right, super.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Good night. That was our very own Brian Blues, live from the car. And speaking of people that are live, let's go to the phones and see if we can talk Lulu into picking up her phone. But she might be watching the thoughts. And maybe we could get a little thought update. Maybe we could actually hear what I'm saying. Maybe we can get a little thought update from Lulu, or maybe not.
The person whom you're trying to reach is currently unavailable. Please leave a message after the beep.
Hey, man, sorry about that whole cherry picker thing or whatever. I don't know if, but anyways, Brian has reached his destination and has hung up, and I'm either going to continue the show with a co-host or wrap up the show without a co-host. So just, you want to call back, it's all good. We cool, yeah. So where's the button to hang this up? Here it is. All right, so we're going to work on down the list. Let's see if we can get Venison to pick up. And then we're going to make a few more calls, and then we're going to wrap up the show if we get no answers. Because no co-host, no show. Gators don't do solo.
The person you're trying to reach is currently unavailable. Please leave a message after the beep.
Yeah, so Lulu called, and she was in a bad mood, but she ate some hot dogs, and I think that helped. But then we were talking about the boobs. And then Brian was driving behind a cherry picker, and then there was another cherry picker. And, man, that was some awful radio. And then Lulu got pissed off and decided to leave us to watch some thoughts. So then Brian got to his destination, so he hung up, and Lulu won't answer the phone now. So I'm solo with no co-host. So I'm calling people, and if no one picks up, I'm closing. I'm wrapping up the show. Love to hear from you. And actually, you're probably better off not calling back because this show sucks. Okay. Let's see. We got Damon's cell over here. Let's see if we can get Damon to pick up his cell. I don't know what he's up to on a Monday, but it's probably more interesting than following a cherry picker. Or maybe he's in the cherry picker. You know? That would be weird. I don't think he's in the cherry picker. So we're just going to... since people won't tune in, we're calling them and giving them the show summary one by one. This is how we're increasing our listener counts, because that totally counts. Yeah.
Hey, what's up? It's Damon. I can't take your call right now. Please leave your name, number, and message after the beep, and I will call you back as soon as I can. Thank you, and have a great day.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Mojo Man, it's Gators here. I have no co-hosts, and I have no co-hosts because, my show sucks, and they all left me for to watch girls with big boobs on Twitch because that was more interesting than listening to my show. Brian was co-hosting from behind the wheel of his car, and he got stuck behind a cherry picker, and then he passed a cherry picker, and then he got passed by the cherry picker, and then there was a guy with a motorcycle, another cherry picker. This is awful radio, and so Neo got pissed off at how boring Brian was, and so she hung up, but then Brian got to his destination, so he hung up, and now Neo won't take my calls. And Venison, I think his internet's broken. And so I'm basically calling anyone and everyone, and if I don't get a co-host, I'm going to play the closing theme tune and wrap up. Actually, you're probably better off not calling back because this show... well, it sucks. Besides, I'm not sure I know here's the callback number. That's 984-664-2723. That's 984-664-2723. So, you're probably better off not calling that. But catch you later. Okay, let's see. Anyone else we can reach out to? There's producer Bill. No, he ain't gonna pick up. When all else fails... call Sir Mars. All right, well, he's not going to pick up that. So when all else fails, call Sir Mars's phone number. All right. So how do we do this? Okay, so it's +1 2332. Okay. We'll just go ahead and dial that. And maybe he'll pick up. Probably not. He usually doesn't.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Okay, yeah, we're not going to do that. So, this has been another fun-filled edition of
Insert title here.
And this week's show was... I really don't have anything else to say, so good night.